Hi guys, Chris Lloyd here, terrible runner extraordinaire. What else? Weight loss coach, entrepreneur, property portfolio manager, landlord, supplier of building materials, many other things, martial arts instructor, etc. Also someone who wants to run a 100-mile ultra marathon and at the moment has got no chance whatsoever. Now we do have a chance. We have a chance. So I've made some slides today. I just want to give you an update on where I'm at with trying to get to this 100 miles, or where I'm not at more specifically because I'm injured and can't do anything, and just give you a complete update on where we're at. So let me share the screen. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see that quite well. I did these slides a couple of days ago now and then haven't had a chance to actually record the video yet. So let's see how it goes. Okay, story so far. I want to run a 100-mile ultra marathon. That's the goal. And I am a very poor runner, like really bad, as you'll see. My aerobic fitness is terrible, which is something I didn't really realize until I got into this. And I have so far done 3 times half marathons. So came in the last few finishes in all 3 of those. And basically when I finished, I was absolutely beat because my training wasn't, well, it wasn't good at all. It was terrible, like really amateur, pathetic. But this running for me was purely an exercise in mindset training. I was seeing what I could push myself to do against what my mind was telling me I couldn't do. So all the time when I was training, I'd be doing training like running past my house to see if I could, like I was in pain, like it hurt and I didn't like it. So I would run past my house to put myself in that position where I had the option of stopping and to see if I could go through. So it was really big mindset training thing for me, not an exercise in running. I chose running because I hated it. I've just done, so it's September, so 7 months ago. I think it's about 7 months ago. Yeah, did a half marathon locally and finished in 2 hours, 50 minutes. So the closing time is 3 hours. There was a couple of people, I think, behind me. But basically I was last in absolute agony with about 2 miles to go. I was kind of losing the ability to control my mind and was thinking about how I was going to get back if I stopped and all that sort of stuff. But then I managed to get my mind back on and finish. It was still kind of mindset training though, as you'll see from the training. So my preparation for that was basically I went out and walked. I didn't have much time when I decided to do it. I went out and walked the 13.1 miles, half mile distance 3 times, which caused me a lot of pain. And then I did 3 walk jogs of 13.1 miles. So I was like walking for, I can't remember how I was doing it. I think I was doing like walk for 30 seconds, jog for 30 seconds, that sort of thing. Yeah, so I did 3 of those. And then the plan was when I did it was to try and like, say if it was broken down into minutes, to sort of do 3/4 of a minute jogging and 1/4 of a minute walking. And it didn't quite go like that. And I definitely, what's the word, bulked, where, you know, I was absolutely shattered with after 10 miles, way before that really. But what happened was, that was quite interesting, was that after that, I got this motivation to want to do running, like kind of to master running. So I kind of felt that I'd done the mindset work, I think. And I've done it in quite a few different things, this mindset training. It's been a big thing for me over the years. You know, I used to be an addict. I've been an alcoholic for years and years. It's nearly 2 years now since I last touched alcohol. Ex-smoker, overweight, you know, I'm about 4 stone lighter than I used to be now. I'm like BMI 25, almost bang on. And ex-gambler as well. Used to play a lot of online poker, a hell of a lot of online poker, as well as full-time job. So that I kind of felt like the mindset training in a way was done, although that it's something that you always got to be on top of. Okay. But I decided I wanted to kind of master this running and take it a step further as well and see what I could do with the body now rather than the mind. I see a lot of people do amazing things with their bodies. They've kind of got the mind over it. Sometimes it's their hobby anyway, so they don't have to do the mindset stuff that I was particularly doing. But yeah, how people master their body and improve it. And obviously I'm 51 now. Longevity is a big thing for me. Health is a big thing. We've had the pandemic, and like being as healthy as I can is a priority for me. It's one of my top values. So I got the bug, and like, it was by no means a conscious decision. I had 2 months off after that half marathon on the 12th of September, which was absolutely necessary because it really took it out of my legs. And then I started training. Yeah, I got a Garmin. So I've had the Garmin for a couple of years now, I think, that I use for when I'm strength training and stuff. And the first run I did in this training, I didn't really have a plan or anything. I looked at the heart rate zones. I thought I'll do zone 3 training, which it said was aerobic training on there, but it was kind of preset. And went out and did a zone 3 run, something like probably a 5K or something like that. And that's when I decided I needed to find out more about this now, start finding out and see what sort of a plan I could put together to get to this 100-mile ultra marathon. Previously 11 minutes per mile. Oh yeah, so over short distances when I've done any training, I was sort of running 11-minute miles, which is like really slow. And then for the half marathon, it was done at 13-minute miles. So this is when I did a bit of running for the first half marathon, which was like 3 years ago now. And I still didn't do much training for that because my knees were shot. I didn't realise how much of a problem I'd got with my legs at the time, which you'll see in a second. This is when I realised now that I have got really poor aerobic capacity. When I did these zone 3 runs and then started training, I think my VO2 max is okay because I'm used to doing short burst training, a lot of martial arts in the past. So that's like getting in, fighting for a few minutes and back out, short burst training, but not done any endurance stuff really ever, other than like these 3 mindset exercises doing the half marathons. Okay, so this is where I learned. I joined this personal best program, a guy called Floris Gearman, who's not a professional runner, but an excellent quality runner. He's got a podcast spoken to some of my favorite people that I've learned from. And he uses this MAF method, which is Maximal Aerobic Fitness Method. It's kind of very similar to Zone 2 heart rate training. And yeah, really appealed because it's all about building your aerobic base, which is obviously not my main problem. Actually, the injuries turned out to be the main problem at the moment, but something that I need to work on if I wanted to be run 100 miles. So I joined this personal best coaching program. It's an online coaching program. So it's not one-to-one coaching, but there's lots of group work. There's Zoom meetings every week. Really good. If you want to know more about that, let me know. So basically, they suggest using the Maferton Method, which is 180, take away your age. So be 180, take away 51 for me. And then there's some minor adjustments, 5 beats per minute up or down, depending whether you're experienced, injuries in the last year or so, stuff like that. But it's easy to find that online. It's kind of free information. So my Maferton number is 125 beats per minute, which means my zone 2 training zone is 115 to 125 beats per minute. So when I go out training, that's what I want to try and keep my heart rate in, that sort of area there. So the first run I did, keeping my heart rate in that zone, I did 15 minutes, 38 seconds per mile, because I have to walk. First, I'm slow, but I had to walk lows to stay in that zone 2. So that is like mega, mega slow. It's not. There's people probably walking faster than that, possibly. So I did 10 runs. So I was doing like 5K, threw in a 10K every now and then, and some like 2-mile runs, stuff like that. In 10 runs, I did another test and I was down to doing around 14 minutes per mile, keeping in this zone, remember. So that already shows an improvement in the aerobic capacity to be able to knock a minute off in 10 runs. I was like absolutely astonished, really, and just able to go a bit long. But I was starting to feel pain in that right ankle, the right knee and the calf. So 2 bones really, and 1 muscle. It was the calf muscle, but that was stemming from the Achilles. So I took a week off. That was after around 10 runs. No, it's probably a bit longer than that, about 12 runs. Then I did another 10 runs after that week of around 1 mile each, like just keeping it mild, because I felt I was okay to go again, but it was getting more pain. Then took 8 days off, just over a week. I remember it well. did one run, mild pain, thought obviously I haven't rested enough, took 10 days off. Then I did 6 runs with no pain, got pain again, and then ended up taking 7 weeks off to get rid of that. And obviously by now I'm starting to think that it's not just something I've picked up, that there's some sort of issue going on. Then 7 very short runs after the 7 weeks off, around the end of March. So that's like 3-4 weeks ago now, 4 weeks ago. And yeah, just obviously was going to be a problem. Now my daughter has had some issues. She's 13. She's had some issues with her legs as well. So she, a few years ago, I think it's probably about 4 years now, maybe 5 years ago, she jumped off a very short wall in Stratford, just jumped down, twisted her ankle a little bit and had some pain, went for an x-ray, and it was just sprained. But it turned out that from compensating for that for a while, because she was obviously in pain for quite a long time, she's caused herself some muscular leg issues. The gentleman that's kind of sorted her out, because it's as good as dusted now, I decided that it was time to go and see him. So I booked an appointment with him. I had 3 weeks to wait to get that sorted. Can't remember what it was. I think he was yeah, he was away actually. But I booked an appointment with the specialist. So 3 weeks of no training, nothing whatsoever. Didn't want to put anything on it. Actually, I was doing some strength training, just upper body, but just waiting to see him. So then I got the appointment with the specialist. So I had a 15-minute consultation first, and then a 60-minute analysis. So that's gait, just how you're standing, where pressure points are, stuff like that. I've got some images to show you in a minute. And, you know, basically told him about the Achilles injury. In his first 15-minute consultation, he was like pushing and prodding. He had a special name for it, medical palpating or something we had a bit of a laugh about. And the main injury he could find was that the Achilles is injured, the scar tissue that needs treatment. And it's sort of gone like hard and it was crackling as he squeezed it. And obviously he's looking for the cause of it, because it didn't seem like we'd had one specific injury happen. So this was his notes from the consultation. So this was like, he was talking about here, this is a plan that I've been sent from him, or like the results. There's a 1 centimetre, was it 1 centimetre or 2 centimetres difference in length. Right leg is longer than the left leg. This means the right foot is flat, the right foot is flat, and the left foot is arched, high arched. So they're actually opposites. The right knee is rotating inwards, so it's actually seems permanently like that. Well, not, yeah, permanently now. And the muscles from the right leg to the foot have a limited range of motion. I couldn't believe it, nor could he really, when he was manipulating my legs, how much my right leg just doesn't move, even compared to the left. The right foot is flat, which also results in the heel pain as the heel turns outward, which puts a strain on the Achilles tendon. The musculoskeletal assessment outlined that the feet, knees and hips can realign to the leg difference with customized orthotics. So that's insoles basically that are customized to your body. However, as there are signs of inflammation to the Achilles tendon and the peroneal tendon, which is the tendon that runs up the outside of the leg, I think, outer foot and leg muscles, from the leg difference, it would be advised to consider a course of laser treatment to reduce the inflammation and then use the customized orthotics. Otherwise, the orthotics could create pain to the left side. Okay, so, and this was the image of me just standing still. So that I've got a few images and videos of how I walk and stuff. And what's kind of interesting here, the percentages are pressure. What's kind of interesting here, if you don't really need to compare front, so this is toes here, left foot and right foot. Don't really need to compare front to back at the moment. It's not so interesting. But what's kind of interesting is in the back, 28.9% is on the left heel. So there's more pressure on the left heel than the right heel. But at the front, there's more pressure on the right ball of the foot than there is on the left ball of the foot. So that means my center of gravity is almost diagonal. So this point here is the center point of pressure, which you'd expect to be kind of there in the middle, nearer the front, but kind of there. Okay. Now, the other thing about this is that there is pressure through the midfoot, even though that's the arched foot, that's the one with the high arch. There is pressure, some pressure through the outside of the foot. And on the flat foot, so this foot is flat, there's no pressure in the middle at all, which kind of counterintuitive, isn't it? But all the pressure has been taken by the heel and the ball of the foot. And what is happening when I walk, so on the left foot, which is normal when I walk, the heel touches, and then the pressure gradually goes through all of the foot. So through the outside arch of the foot, outside the arch of the foot, into the ball of the foot, into the big toe. As the big toe bends, then it signals for the foot to take the step. But on my right foot, what's happening is the heel of the foot's coming down, and instead of going through the foot, it's going heel and slapping straight onto the front and bending up, and it's causing low range of motion. It's causing a slap effect rather than this constant flowing effect. So that's kind of the issue there, or, you know, that was some of the things that showed it. So I've been compensating for this issue for years, but because I've never really done any endurance training, and I've had a desk job for years until I left it 2 years ago, it's not really been an issue. But every time I did any training, I'd get some minor knee pain and stuff like that, and not be able to train as much as I would like. So when I first started running, that was a problem. I had to strap my knees up all the time to run. Better to find it now than later. So probably best I found this out right at the start of the training, so I can carry on doing some heart rate training while we try and solve the issue. So the plan is, I've booked 6 courses of laser treatment. So I've got 2 per week for the next 3 weeks. And then the orthotic soles are going to be ordered sort of halfway through so that they come at the end. For some reason, he wants to just wait to order those and see if the laser treatment starts working, I think. Then also an exercise plan to rebuild my leg muscles all around the Achilles, everywhere really, build them up in the correct range of motion, so that if ever I have a period, say, where I haven't got my insoles or something, go on holiday for 2 weeks and forget them, my muscles are strong in the correct position. So that's like really important kind of third step that we can start on fairly quickly, I think, to start building the legs up in the correct positions. I asked the specialist the other day, when we sort of came up with this plan, I sort of said the next Kenilworth half marathon, which I'd set my sights on doing as part of this, to run 100 miles, I basically says I've got to run a half marathon, then a marathon of 50, and then go for 100, something like that. Or, you know, that's like a real loose term of how the progression is going to go. So I asked him, next half marathon is 11th of September this year. It's what, end of April now. I would need to start running again in 2 months to be able to just do that. Okay, does he think that's possible? And he said, yes, hopefully. As long as everything sort of goes okay, the laser treatment works okay, the orthotics come, it's not a case of getting them and just being able to run straight away. I've got to get used to wearing them and having my feet in a different position and then start getting on with things. I didn't ask him whether the 100 miles would be possible in the end, although he knows that's what I want to do. But I thought, if I can run a half marathon, basically, I don't see much reason why I can't run 100 miles. But to be honest, I'm not sure I even want to know the answer to that question yet, if it was negative anyway. Okay, so the current plan of attack. I can do some exercises, but nothing weight bearing. So I can't run, and walking is not even particularly good idea at the moment, just until this laser treatment's done. No running, but I can do cycling and rowing. So I need to build up my aerobic capacity because it's terrible. So I can work in the zone 2 heart rate. So I bought a rowing machine, see it there, magnetic one. I didn't go mega expensive on it. I wanted one that I could stand up so it doesn't take up too much room. So as you can see by there, the feet flip up. So it just stands on that end. It's actually just behind me now. Hang on. That is it there. So it doesn't take up much room, although it hasn't gone down too well. It is taking up room. And also an exercise bike. So folding exercise bike. So that collapses together like that. And it's right next to me here. It doesn't take up much room at all. I just need to get on them now and have a test in them. I've actually done that now since I wrote this, and see how easy it is to use them and stay in zone 2. It appears that it's going to be quite easy, and actually better than the running I was doing, because I was having to run, walk, heart rate would shoot up, so I'd have to let it come down. It appears that on these I'm going to be able to train and just keep the heart rate at a more consistent number, you know, not shooting way up and shooting way down. And I can build the aerobic base. So that's it. 3 weeks of laser treatment, get the new insoles, start walking on those. I think if it's anything like my daughter's ones, I'll sort of wear them for half a day, one day, then an hour, and sort of build up using them until I can start walking, jogging and running properly on them. So yeah, Kenilworth Half Marathon, 11th of September, 100, I think it's 140 days now, or 141 days now. So that's what, 20 weeks. So it's going to be 3 weeks probably before I start wearing the orthotics. So at least 17 weeks. Start walking a couple of weeks, 15 weeks. I mean, I think the hope is really just to be able to do it in 3 hours again. Like I'd set myself a target for this one of doing 2 hours 30 minutes before, with 2 hours 50 being my times before, which is still like really slow. So there's nothing spectacular about that at all when you consider they've broken 2 hours for the full marathon, albeit in strange circumstances. But that's the sort of times for marathons, just over 2 hours. For me, 2.5 hours target then for the half marathon just shows how slow I am, really, how bad I am. But yeah, the target now really is just to be able to do it and get round in the 3 hours before they're out on the road again. Yeah, and that's about it. So yeah, thanks for listening and watching. I hope that sort of puts you in the picture where I'm at. I'll keep posting. I'm very active. I'm mostly active on Facebook. But yeah, I'm going to try and make more videos now as I do training, just let you know how it's going on. It's kind of like a rebuild from absolutely rubbish. That's why I called myself the terrible runner, because I obviously want to become a good runner. I don't think I need to be, you know, get anything up super fast to be able to do an ultra marathon. This is going to be like mindset and endurance. And I'm kind of really looking forward to this challenge. And it's brought up more challenges than I hoped already, even after like a few months. It's been November, so November, December, January, February, March. In 6 months, I've been through the ringer already, really. So, and it's only just beginning. It's only just beginning. Guys, thanks for listening. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. All the best.